your side. News at 6.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Guy Atchley.
And I'm Stella Inger. They're calling it a murder-suicide, and Glendale police say they found a note next to two teens' bodies.
This is a look at the scene earlier today. Police responding to a shooting at Independence High School, causing a lockdown until police could confirm it was not an active shooter situation.
Police found both 15-year-olds next to each other, the weapon at hand, each with one gunshot wound. A teacher at the school learned that one of the victims was her sister when she made a phone call to the school.
They put me on hold for 10 minutes because that's when I knew something was wrong. And then I was escorted from my classroom with one of the vice principal there. And he held my hand and said, "We have to go upstairs." And I walked up, and I walked past so many people looking at me, and they knew what happened. And that's when they told me, the policeman detectives, that my sister's gone.
Well, tonight police say they appear to be in a relationship, but they have yet to give more information and identify them. The mother of Columbine shooter Dylan Klebold gives her first television interview nearly 17 years after the mass shooting. She sits down with ABC's Diane Sawyer for a one-hour special on 2020.
And I keep thinking, constantly thought, how I would feel if it were the other way around and one of their children had shot mine. I would feel exactly the way they did. I know I would.
12 students and one teacher were murdered. You can watch the entire interview at 9 p.m. tonight on KGUN9.
A house fire last night on the east side ignited after a 5-year-old boy was playing with fire in the backyard. Tucson Fire says the boy had either matches or a lighter, and the fire quickly spread to the home, but officials say it is still considered an accidental fire. 9 on your side's Ricky Mitchell got an exclusive look at the damage today and has this update.
We are getting our first look at the damage that this fire caused. Take a look. This entire backyard went up in flames last night. Now, the family says that the little boy was back here in this Arizona room playing with either a lighter or matches. And Tucson Fire says this is just a sad example of how a little curiosity can turn to tragedy. When Tucson fire crews arrived at this home last night, they were met with heavy black smoke and flames.
You can see just based off the fuel load behind us as well that was already fully involved in the backyard.
Captain Barrett Baker says the fire caused an energized power line to fall down after the flames burned up the wooden support around the line.
That kind of put the backyard off limits when it comes to attacking it from this area.
We spoke with the owner of the home off camera, who said she's lived in this house 40 years and lost nearly all of her personal items, including photographs of her late husband. And Tucson Fire says all of this started because of a 5-year-old boy's curiosity.
In playing with matches or lighters or something that started the fire, was able to then run in and tell the adults in the house that he started the fire in the back. And unfortunately, this is the aftermath a day later.
The family of 3 escaped unharmed, but the home appears to be a total loss. Captain Baker says parents should try and keep things like lighters and matches away from young children.
If the child does show any sort of curiosity about the fire, then please call us. We'll have you come down, we'll sit, and we'll try to educate the kids as to what happens when that curiosity can turn into far worse.
Again, Tucson Fire says this is considered an accidental fire because the boy was only 5 years old. They say they will likely try to do some type of education with the little boy and with his parents. Reporting from the east side, I'm Ricky Mitchell, KGUN9 on your side.
A warm, sunny, so nice day out there today. Some people taking advantage of the 80s, playing golf at El Dorado Country Club golf course.
And some are saying, how long will these summer-like temps in the winter stick around? Here's Chief Meteorologist Aaron Christensen.
Summer, come on, more like springtime, right? We really don't have anywhere to go if we start calling this summer-like weather, right? 87 degrees, our high today. That breaks the old 86-degree record previously set in 1988. And this is not normal, folks. By that, I'm saying we were 19 degrees above average. How about that? Almost 20 degrees warmer than what we should be. 68 is the average. Started the day at 46, typically starting off at about 42. You topped out at 85 in Sells, 83 Nogales, 79 Douglas, and 78 Sierra Vista. Coming up, I'll let you know how long our heat wave will continue for and what to expect if you're headed out to the gem show this weekend.
Well, the weather made it a fine day to visit a landfill if you like that sort of thing, right? The city of Tucson offered a tour of the Los Reales landfill to show how getting rid of your garbage is much bigger. The job is bigger than just dumping it. 9 News 9's Craig Smith got a look at where your trash goes.
These people were interested enough to tour the landfill and the city's recycling contractor. Tucson does not make you separate recyclables. A combination of people and machinery separated for you. Jean Wall is a retired teacher. She loves this sort of field trip.
It was my massage therapist who told me about this, and I don't know how she heard about it, but she just said, this sounds like the sort of thing that you and Ralph would like. And so, yeah, go to the garbage, go to especially the recycle plant and see the garbage heaps and walk on them.
The city wants people to understand how the landfill and recycling work. Through exercises like this, people learn a lot of things they think they can recycle. They can't. About 20% still ends up in the landfill. The recycled material that comes out of this place is a commodity, so it's sensitive to a commodities market. Right now, oil is so cheap, companies that might be using this to create new plastic materials are using new oil instead. Environmental Services Chief Andrew Quigley says instead of making money off recyclables, Tucson will have to pay about $200,000. Why is it still worth it to you to take that loss as opposed to, say, suspending recycling?
Well, two things. First, under state law, we'd have to start picking trash up twice a week, which is not something we are set up to do. The second thing is that the diversion of recyclables away from our landfills and the use of recyclable materials in the manufacture of products reduces the amount of greenhouse gas.
And the less garbage dumped at Los Reales landfill, the longer before it fills up, and the better for the environment. Craig Smith, KGUN9, on your side.
Vail school students got their work gloves and shovels ready today to help build a garden for themselves and their community. They were planting fruit trees with the help of the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation and the Vail Preservation Society.
We've been working with the school here for 2 years, and we've gotten some raised beds, there's aquaponics, now we're getting a fruit tree orchard, and there's also a 1915 section foreman house that high school students are rehabbing.
The students themselves will be enjoying the fruits of their labor, but some of the food will be sent to help those less fortunate in Vail.
Abandoned puppies in the middle of the desert now being taken care of right here in Tucson. Their journey to southern Arizona coming up.
Plus, students are learning a new craft, what they're taking on that's competing with the Gem and Mineral Show. You're watching KGUN9 on your side. 12 puppies found abandoned in a remote area of Cochise County, now recovering in Tucson.
They're not quite ready for adoption just yet. Malnourished, they have to be quarantined for just a few weeks. 9 News 9's Whitney Clark explains why experts say it is so important to spay and neuter your pets.
I know. Before these puppies were found by a hiker, they were deserted in a remote area near Bisbee, likely left eating garbage.
This is the worst case scenario. We don't want to see animals come into us this way. So these puppies have probably never had any vaccinations. Their parents have probably never had any vaccinations. So right now they've got a little bit of loose stool, so they've probably been eating garbage.
They like being around people. The 12 pups from a few different litters likely have been taken care of at some point, picked up by the Friends of Bisbee Animal Shelter this week, now recovering at the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. Volunteers say abandoning animals like this is a crime, stressing the importance of spaying and neutering your pets.
We don't think that they weren't socialized because they're not fearful of people, so that's good. We think they belonged to someone at some point in time, and it probably just became overwhelming and they ended up in the desert.
Pictures of the pups have been shared hundreds of times on Facebook, but they won't be put up for adoption for a few weeks when they are healthy. Unfortunately, the Humane Society sees these types of cases all too often. They have dozens of other animals looking for a good home. This weekend, it's PetSmart's National Adoption Weekend. The Humane Society, as well as other nonprofits, will have adoption specials at PetSmart locations all over Tucson. All of that info is on our website. That's KGUN9.com. Guy, Stella.
Whitney, thank you. I'm surprised she didn't come home with one.
You know, we were just teasing her. If they were kittens, she probably would have. She's a little bit more of a cat person, but she said she wanted to.
All right. But they are so cute.
Yeah, God.
And you have been on record watch all week.
All week long, yeah. How about 3 records this week alone? We'll talk about those and the ones that will be threatened next week as well. In the meantime, here's a look at what the rest of the nation is dealing with.
Wow, 24 in Boston. Plus, the Arizona player Sean Miller refers to as a pinball may finally settle in his role tonight. You're watching KGUN9 on your side.
Now, KGUN9 on your side first warning weather with Chief Meteorologist Aaron Christensen.
Hey Tucson, we topped out at 87 degrees today. Anyone want to make a run for 90 tomorrow? Show of hands? I'm not seeing any. Okay, 87 degrees, that'll be it for us. 86, the old record set back in 1988. Can you believe our temperatures today? Close to 20 degrees above average. And this just kind of a fitting end, I suppose, to a record-setting week. We tied a record on Monday, 81 degrees, which is important because then it's now Monday's date that goes down in the almanac as the one to beat. We broke a record Thursday, the old record 84. We topped out at 85. And of course, as I just mentioned, we set a record today with 87 degrees. And we still have this very strong ridge of high pressure. When you take a look at the clouds here in the west, you can see they're kind of being forced up and over something. See how the clouds come just pushing up over our ridge of high pressure. Very strong ridge, and it just continues to strengthen as the 2 areas of low pressure on either side are also strengthening. So as these areas of low pressure, kind of this dip in our jet stream, that big pocket of cold air strengthens, that's only strengthening the ridge of high pressure. It's kind of like a teeter-totter effect here. So this is dipping farther to the south, drawing colder air down. This continues to swell to the north, drawing warmer air up from Mexico. So we call this an omega block pattern simply because of the way it creates the Greek letter omega in the jet stream. You kind of have this big loop here. And basically, this is a holding pattern insofar as that high pressure isn't moving one way or another, except just kind of building vertically. And that high pressure will continue to stay over us. We're seeing the same omega block pattern continuing through not only the weekend, but early next week. We do see some changes on the horizon, though. That's a hint of things you'll see in your 7-day forecast. Short-term clear skies, 48 degrees, our overnight low for Tucson. That's essentially how we'll start our Saturday. It's an overnight/morning low, and then up to 85 by the afternoon, although that will not be a record for us. I think the record of 89 degrees is going to stay safe in the almanac. Our temps across southern Arizona still warmer than normal. You'll be flirting with 80 degrees in Douglas, Bisbee, and Fort Tombstone tomorrow. You'll make it to 80 in Sonoyta, Green Valley, 83. 82 Nogales, 82 in Tubac, 86 though for Ajo, 77 in Graham County for Safford, Thatcher at 79, again 85 in Tucson and Oro Valley, but if you want to cool off, you could always head to Summer Haven, 59 degrees for a high. And a gem of a weekend if you're going to be heading to the show and all the smaller shows out and about, especially those in tents where you have to walk from one to another. Make sure you've got sunscreen on if you're going to be spending a serious amount of time outdoors. Lots of sunshine. 85 for a high Saturday, 82 for your Sunday, and the sun just shining bright. Wind from the northwest about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And your Valentine's Day, you can plan the entire day around this forecast. Getting up early, maybe breakfast in bed for your sweetheart, 50 degrees, mostly clear by lunchtime, 75, 81 by 4 o'clock. And then if you're headed out to dinner, perhaps late, 8 p.m., clear skies, and 64. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast now. We're seeing temperatures still flirting with records by early next week. So I put all the records in there. You can see Tuesday will likely tie a record. We'll come close to tying one again on Wednesday, but changes move in Thursday, Friday. Storm system brings some clouds back and takes our temps back down to the 70s.
We are streaming live right now on Facebook, KGUN9's Facebook, and people, I asked them, what did it feel like today? They said 95.
Just to guess, yeah, from being outside.
It feels warm. Thanks,
well,
Aaron.
brace yourself.
I know.
Good to see the team at home tonight.
That's right. Arizona basketball returns, and it is a rivalry night in McKale Center. And no, there are no Sun Devils around. It's a team who has historically given the Wildcats some trouble, and they did that just 1 month ago. Arizona hosts the UCLA Bruins tonight. UCLA head coach Steve Alford's son Bryce is one to watch tonight. The guard is the 6th leading scorer in the Pac-12, averaging 17 points a game. He hit 5 three-pointers, including the game winner against Arizona in January. But the Cats have their own go-to three-point player, Gabe York. He leads all Pac-12 players in threes made in conference games and has stepped up wherever, whenever Sean Miller has needed him.
Poor Gabe York. We moved that kid around like a pinball. I mean, it's just, he's played the 1, the 2, the 3, back to the 2, back to the 1. Every time somebody's gotten hurt, he has shifted. And now that Alonzo is back full time, you know, we're going to shift Gabe again. We're going to shift Mark a little bit. And that's the hard part about coaching through injuries.
Tip-off is at 7 o'clock, and if you can't make it out to McKale Center, you can watch the game on ESPN. Well, it's also game day for the Arizona softball team. The Wildcats are about to begin a game against Southern Utah. They played them last night and beat them 10-2. Freshman Taylor McQuillan will be in the circle. Last night, San Diego transfer Danielle O'Toole tossed a complete game with 2 runs allowed against the Thunderbirds, making a very impressive debut as a Wildcat.
Definitely a lot of things different. You know, the crowd, you know, calling your name or calling everybody's name is definitely different. The feeling of having all of your teammates like and so compact when you have this huge dugout and we're all sitting right here, it's really cool. So it's a big difference.
Well, Rich Rod's hard edge spring ball begins today, and after a few moves yesterday, it seems the coaching staff is set. Michigan's Chris Singletary is the new director of recruiting. Matt Dudek will move to a position yet to be named. Arizona is doing things a little bit differently this year. There will be no spring game, but there will be an open practice for fans to check out the new team. It's Friday, March 4th at 6 p.m. at Arizona Stadium. Mets right-handed pitcher Henry Mieja has been permanently suspended by Major League Baseball after testing positive for his 3rd performance-enhancing substance violation. So it really is 3 strikes and you're out.
Okay, Ashley, thank you.
The Gem and Mineral Show isn't the only place you can find a hidden jewel.
Where else you can look for your next treasure? Coming up, you're watching KGUN9 on your side. New at 6, many designers are getting the chance to feature impeccable jewelry at the Gem and Mineral Show this weekend. But one local high school is letting students try their hands at designing as well.
South Point Catholic High School's Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics program is teaming up with Tucson-based Krikawa Jewelry. Students didn't only get to tour the gallery, but got the chance to design their own charm bracelets. The 2 bracelets that are designed by the students will go up for auction at the end of April as part of a fundraising effort at South Point. The 2 are worth about $2,500 a piece. That's not bad. Ooh. And we will be right back right after the break. So you think we're not done with maybe like another storm or 2?
I definitely think we have another storm in us, just depending upon how potent it is, whether or not we're going to see some rain or mountain snow again. But yes, we have another storm on the horizon. By Thursday, Friday, we'll see a few more clouds rolling in and our temps will start to drop back into the 70s. So if you're a big fan of our temperatures running almost 20 degrees above average, we still have that going for us all the way through Tuesday.
My closet is confused.
Yeah,
right now.
CW News at 9, KGUN9 News at 10.